Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Pyreside Chat. I am Tempo, and today I'm joined by someone from the art department. He could be a 3D model himself, but he chose to bless us with his talents as a 3D modeler for the game of Immortal. He is Matthieu Ezotop Test, aka the Arc Father of Walter.
Hello, everyone.
As the arc father of Walter, man, what like as someone who came into the company and got bombarded with this wonderful character, I have been told that you have something to do with the creation of this character. Wanna tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. It's the love child of Big Jon's brain and mine. He drew it a while back, and for a previous iteration of this show, I wanted to have something to sculpt live. So he gave me this creature from New Earth that I called the Dog Toad at the time, and sculpted it live. And yeah, this is him again. This
And of
is
course,
Walter the Great
the great.
from John's
That's
drawing.
right, sort of. Yeah, that's right. So I had drawn some concept art for New Elf creatures, and then yeah, as Matthew said, he messaged me and I sent that over to him, and then we did that on. Oh, Matthew, was that your first stream? I can't remember.
I think it was the second one. The first one I made the thrum blockout,
Right.
which was
Okay,
probably a year ago or something.
that's right. Okay, so yeah,
That's so
and
funny.
then that's where it all began. We had a naming
Beautiful.
contest, and we named her Walter.
Yeah, who actually
I think it was Santa.
really? I mean,
I think,
really?
right?
Was it?
Santa, is
Was it
that
really?
correct? I can't remember, to be
For some
honest. I
reason.
have kind of blocked it out in my memory.
And yeah, of
Yeah,
course, I am
it
joined
was.
by my boy Big Jon as
Hey, what's up, everybody?
usual. Definitely my man will be drawing for us too, but today we actually have a nice little gift for you guys as since we have someone from the art team, we will be able to showcase some cool stuff in the art department that I'm sure you guys are incredibly excited to see. So this is a first for me. I know you said that you had been on Pyreside before, but
Mhm.
it's the first time with Tempo, and I'm doing it not only as the interviewer, but also as a fan of the work that you do in order to allow this game to look so cool.
Yeah,
So,
thank you. Yeah, that's the first time we're doing it together.
mhm. And then of course we got Kip on production and always in the background, but always seen. He's always ever present, omnipresent, I should say, and he'll be making the stream look sexy for y'all too. But just a reminder, there is going to be a giveaway, I believe, right, of some immortal keys as we do on these Pyreside chats. So make sure if you are in the Twitch chat right now to type exclamation raffle if you would like to be included into those. And you could be the owner of very own Walter, right? Or no, I think it's a raffle key. So you'll be able to be playing the game of Immortal. That who
I'll send
knows
you
might have Walter in
screenshots.
it. You never know. He might be a secret
Yeah.
If you
character
get
at
the
some
key,
point.
you own the rights to Walter legally.
we
You
need
get
a
a Walter
disclaimer. There's going to be a
NFT or
disclaimer.
something like
But as
this.
Yeah,
soon as
Walter
someone
NFT.
else gets, well, we already have the Walter NFT, and it's already been minted and made. That's all been done. Kip, can we show Matthew's screen? I just realized that we weren't showing it.
Oh,
He's been it looks like beefing up Walter. She's a muscle
whoa.
house now,
Dang.
like a brick shit house.
That's like, yeah, I have a 100-pound Doberman, and Walter is way more jacked uh, than my Doberman, man. What the heck? What?
That's wild.
And
And
Santa
Walter, like, is
loses
kind of
it.
like the size of a horse economically, I think. So that's
Sorry.
that's terrifying almost.
Yeah. Look at him.
Yeah.
Her. Oh, beautiful. Perfection. We got the approval. But yes,
Majestic.
it's so majestic, right?
Yep.
Now
Oh,
I've
man.
heard down the grapevine you've got some other stuff that you've been working on to show us.
Yep.
Ooh, yes.
I'm currently working on Zol. The model we currently have in the game is a placeholder. It's pretty much just a mask hunter that's been sized up and added with a few effects. So now I'm currently working on the sculpt for the final model of Soul.
Now, for anyone in the chat that doesn't know, Zol is one of our Aru immortals, and she is the prophet of the hunt. She's got lots of sneaky, cool, like she shows up on the field with a big war horn that's not TM yet, but we're trying to get it in there. All kinds of cool stuff. So
I'm like so excited. Even when Zol got reworked and we were able to get her on the battlefield, she was like my go-to. I just love the character. I love the lore behind her too. And yes, the fact that there's gonna be, look at that. Oh yeah, some nice sexy progress when it comes down to her on the battlefield. Something to definitely look forward to.
yeah, I love that so much. When I think Zol was probably my favorite immortal that I concepted, and then Benny, one of our other concept artists, took over Zol when I shifted over more into creative department, and she's done such a good job. It just looks so good. Can we get some zoom ins?
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
get a little bit of that in its full glory.
Yeah, it's so fucking cool.
Yes, the head.
And she
I can remove
actually has
some
a
parts if we.
she actually has a face now, correct? Yeah,
I
so
know,
she is.
a unique, the mask as well. Look at
Oh,
that.
it's so
Oh
cool.
wow. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of
But you
cool
will-
work in art,
yeah.
man. Like, geez, I gotta give it up to y'all, right? Loving
thank you.
seeing these characters come to life. So
The
Yeah, it will-
hair looks really good too. Oh my gosh.
I
can't wait
know.
to see all that textured. Oh, it's gonna look so good.
The hair is actually one of the more technical part that we are trying to figure out. It's really complicated to make.
It looks very complicated.
Yeah. I've so this is pretty much a rough version that I made to test out how it will look in the end. And I can actually show live a bit later on how to turn this model that is very high polygon, high in poly count that we cannot use in game, and how to turn that into a low poly asset that can be used in game. So I already started to prep something for what we call bake to have a test version of the final result.
Wow.
And we can do that live a bit later.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, word. Well, and I guess before we get to that point, we gotta kind of learn a little bit about you, right? Like,
Sure.
this didn't just come out of nowhere, right? There's a really cool dude here that was born into this world in a certain place, went through many trials and tribulations in life, struggles, challenges, but he found his way in order to be making these things. And we're gonna find out a little bit about him. And Mr. Matthieu, man, like, want to tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, how growing up was?
Sure. I'm from a very small hamlet in France. We were when I lived there 13 inhabitants, including my family, and yeah,
You said
it was pretty
13,
small.
like that's small.
13, 1 and 3.
1, 3, okay.
Yep. There was my parents, my sister, my grandparents, and a few other farmers. We pretty much live on a mountainside, and it's an area where a lot of people grow apricots. So that's what my parents do.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, it means that you get money every summer because you have a job. It also means you only have this for your summer, like work on the farm.
True.
But it's no, honestly, it was a good time. It gives you it was kind of isolated, which was
I can imagine
difficult. But my parents made efforts to make sure I could still see people, like drive me to friends and sign me up for various activities like rock climbing and stuff like that as a child.
Okay.
So that even though it was quite often lonely, I still find ways to socialize early.
Yeah, and even get different hobbies. So right now, I actually want to ask Big Jon real quick what it is that he's going to be drawing for us today.
Yeah. So on a previous stream, I worked on some kind of like pre-concept stuff for one of our progenitor races, and this is kind of what that was before. And these beings are kind of, I think they're like silicon-based life forms that have They were the original makers of the runes, or not the makers. They were the first to wield the runic
Oh.
power that eventually leads to Joran technology and other technology that we've not fully gone over yet. But I've been kind of working on the way that they look and some of their, like what do these things wear, because they had a whole society, they have a whole deal, and a lot of their architectural and kind of design philosophy stuff will trickle down into some of the other factions and civilizations, stuff like that. So I was inspired by these the way that magnets kind of pick up metal shards,
Mhm.
and kind of like they uh, basically harness the metal around them and draw them to their form. So I've been working on kind of like this, like, I don't know, magnetized armor kind of deal. So that's what I'm gonna be working
Yeah.
on today.
Hell yeah. And I got a real quick tangent. Did you ever recover the one that you were? Remember when like the power went out? I was
Oh
wondering
my
if you
gosh.
got that.
Yeah, I did actually. I did recover that. Yeah.
Thank God. Okay. Woof, woof. Okay. I was like, kept me up at night, John, and I never got an answer. Okay, dude. So good to
Yeah.
know that
No,
you
it's
didn't
all
lose it.
good.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, Matthew, you were talking about, how your parents at least got you out to do different things and all, you know,
Yeah,
despite being in an isolated area. But as far as other family, do you have like any siblings or?
yeah. I have a small sister. We have a 7-year gap, so it's enough for some bonding.
Cool.
We I yeah the when I grew up, school was 5 kilometers away. When
Okay.
I was a wee kid, when I was in what's before high school, middle
So
school.
in US, yeah, we call it middle school. I don't know.
Yeah,
It might be
well,
different there,
age
but
10 and up, I
okay.
went to the nearest small city, which was half an hour away by bus. And yeah, that was my first introduction to the big world of not a Hamlet, pretty much.
Wow.
And that's around that time that I started being interested in video games. That's also when we first had the family computer that could run games,
Oh
stuff
my
like that.
God.
It was
I
around
rem-
the time where Baldur's Gate, Fallout, what else came, and very close to later on StarCraft came.
okay.
That's pretty much how it started
Did you have like a
when I was
favorite
like
type
a
of
wee
game
lad.
playing growing up, right? Whether it was RPG or I think you mentioned
Yeah,
because just by mentioning two of those, Baldur's Gate and Fallout, I'm thinking that you
yeah,
might have
yeah.
leaned a little bit towards RPGs.
Yeah, I think the ones that definitely like drew like I liked the most as a kid were those Fallout 1 and 2, Baldur's Gate, StarCraft had a huge impact. A friend of mine and me played it quite a lot. Um, what else? Yeah, I think overall RTS and RPGs were
RPG,
my
the
yeah,
R's, man. Were
yeah,
you a pirate?
exactly,
Are you a fan of pirates? With all the
exactly.
R? No, I'll see my way
That's what it
out. But
was. That's what it was.
but I was gonna say like Escape from Monkey Island. What's up? What's up? But I did want to ask you a bit, right? So I'm assuming the school that you went to had more than double digits in attendance.
Middle school, yes. Before
Okay.
that, we were I think around 12 between age 5 to 10 ish. So that's when I was at the village that was near. And
Okay.
then the first time I went to a city for school was I think 1.5K. Like the
Oh
city
damn.
wasn't that big, but it's a very rural area in France. So pretty much everything in a half an hour radius by car went to that school. Like
Hmm.
everyone went to that
That's
school.
gonna. How does that like feel, right? Or how did you manage that, right? Of going from almost probably knowing everybody almost intimately
Mm.
to just whoa, there's tons of people in this world. Like what the heck?
Yeah, that was interesting. That was like in spite of my parents' best efforts, I wasn't too social. And yeah, going into like from very small groups of people to this at
It's a
around
huge
age
jump, yeah.
10, 11 was difficult. But I still managed to make friends and everything. and it showed me a lot of different type of people that I wasn't used to in rural France, and
Gotcha.
yeah, that
Real
was pretty good.
real quick, we got a question from the chat from Santa. Matthieu, I think I know the answer to this. Matthieu, what's your favorite Immortal faction, and who's your favorite Immortal?
And why is it
Oh.
Walter?
just play Walters. The favorite faction is Aru. And favorite Immortal, I think I like Mana's style more in terms of gameplay. In terms of what I actually play, because I don't play as much since, I do play the game, but
You're one of the more active playtesters
yeah, exactly.
I gotta say.
Yeah. I started with Orzum because he was one of the first ones, and I got used to him and his units. So I'm sticking to Orzum most of the time. But if I had to say dedicate a lot of time to playtesting, and playing a lot more and being invested in it, I would pick Arrow.
So
I was thematically
Kwame,
that's what I like most.
Kwame, if you don't mind, I have a couple question for
Yeah,
Matthieu.
go for it.
So a while back, when we were starting, I remember you were saying that Aru is kind of encompasses the vibe that you're like your comfort zone as far as modeling goes, and that you were looking forward to it. And I'm curious, like, what have you learned since then through all the stuff that you've done for Aru, and like what kind of challenges came up that you didn't expect, and what that kind of stuff.
I've learned to sculpt bark quite a bit and roots. That's honestly this part that's most of what I've been doing on Aru in general. The challenge is usually trying to make anatomical sense on units that are made of wood, and still make it look like something the human brain is used to, like anatomy in general. So still have muscles on the wooden creatures and characters in place that make sense to the brain. And yeah, that's I think one of the biggest challenge that Haru was. The second one would be making foliage.
I can imagine.
It's a lot of it's a lot of trickery, like finding out new techniques to optimize foliage, especially on small units, because you don't want to give them to make foliage to first of all, it takes a lot of the triangle budget. When we make a unit, we have a finite amount of triangles we can give it, and foliage can eat through that pretty quick. And also, if you want to make it flow with the unit and follow it like a cape or something like this, it's also quite taxing for some computers. So it's always been kind of challenging to figure out how to make that look good and not perform. And not perform bad.
Yeah, the
tech. Has that all kind of culminated with Zol, with her hair and everything?
Well, fortunately, Zol is an Immortal, so she has she has a way bigger budget, because you can pretty much only ever have one or two Zol on screen at the time.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we can give her a lot more of that budget compared to a small unit.
That could be mass produced, right? And you
exactly.
Gotta be very careful with that too.
Like Masked Hunters and units like this have a way smaller budget,
right?
Which makes sense.
Oh, damn, that's sick. As far as that, even I think Big Jon asking getting to that point, the challenge, has it gotten easier for you? As far as when you started even doing 3D modeling, these kind of little intricate details, right? Are they things that you thought could ever be, right? It could be capable of?
And to be fair, it's very much a group effort. Ignis and Toby have been very useful and have been doing most of the work on optimization and how much we can give to anything, how much budget we can allocate to each unit. But yeah, it's gotten easier. We have a better sense now. We don't have to do test upon test for every unit and every combination of parameters. We can try to optimize.
Yeah.
Now it's gotten better. Yes.
Nice. That's so sick.
Follow-up question from Santa. What's your favorite unit from Aru and Jorah? Well, Jorah, we don't have any of the units announced yet, so nice try, Santa. But your
That's
favorite unit from Karath, Aru, and Jorah?
For Karath, I think my favorite is the Hallower. I really like the gameplay of it and the visual effect
It's
of
so
it,
satisfying.
like, yeah, glowing for a few seconds after shooting. I think it looks really cool. For Aru, it's one that we haven't finished yet. It's the Behemoth. He was really fun to work on.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite. And he's making a lot of baby quills, so
Oh yeah.
even better.
You get like a 2-for-1 right there, right? Like
Yeah. Grabbing a
Oh,
freebie.
right. Well, you did mention had other hobbies like, rock climbing, right? Do you do other things in your free time that
Well, that was mainly when I was a kid, and my
Okay.
parents tried
Gotcha.
to.
Oh,
Like,
did
socialize
you enjoy
me.
it or no? Was it a thing like
Yeah.
okay?
No, it was fine. I also yeah, it was a cool experience. I was very afraid of heights at first,
Wow. Oh my
and
god,
it
your
was
parents.
like yeah, it was on actual rocks, so like mountain side, not
Yeah.
on
We're not
not
talking like
in a
gym.
gym or
Like,
something.
mhm.
So yeah, it actually helped me to get my high school degree. I had a really good grade on that for sports.
Really?
That was the
That mean
only
you're not
sport I
afraid of
was good at.
heights, right? You got to go to
Oh,
high school.
nice.
She's like, we're going to high school, Matthieu. And you're like,
Exactly.
no.
No, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I haven't done it in a while, but it was fun. I remember a few times like having to jump to grab I'm not sure what it's called in English, like a place to grab pretty much.
Mhm.
And inside of it were, what's the name of that plant? It's a plant that when you touch it, you have an instant reaction that gives you like a like
Ugh.
like
Well, I
makes
know
your skin
cacti do
red.
that, but I don't think
Like
that's what you're
poison
talking
ivy or
about.
something?
Poison ivy is probably
Maybe
more.
poison ivy. I'll just check.
Like a rash.
Yeah, like a really quick rash.
Mhm.
Like it was fun. And because I did jump to catch
Nettles or something?
like this place, I couldn't let go obviously, so it was
Oh
really
no!
fun.
Yeah. Like either I fall, Oh no!
Yeah,
Damn.
it's nettle. You're
Nettle.
right.
Okay.
That's the name of it.
Nice. Wow.
And like sometimes like a piece of rock stays in your hand, and there you go.
Yeah.
Glad you have a
sucks.
rope.
I can't say
it's
that I've
fun.
done like that kind of rock climbing before, but I only have done like the gym stuff. But wow, hot damn. Well, I guess we're gonna jump into a little video introduction to SunSpear. Like, how did we get blessed with Mr. Ezo Top to model these
It's
wonderful
a pretty good
units?
story.
Mm-hmm.
It started how long ago? About 10 years ago, when
Okay.
Duelist was a game. It was a card game that
Oh my
that I
god,
liked
I
quite a
know
bit.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, you played that? Like
I did a
it was
bit.
like a pixel art card game with a board, like one of
Uh-huh.
the first one who did it. It was a really good game. And after a match, I played a match against Florian,
Okay.
the concept lead. And after that, we added each other as a friend, which was an option in the client of the game. And we talked about the game for a while, and because of that, we became actual friends. And then yeah, that's pretty much how it started. And at some point, SunSpear was looking for a 3D modeler, and Florian said, "Hey, I know you've been doing this, like learning this. I'm working on this project. Would you like to do a test for us and maybe become part of the team?" And yeah, that's how I joined the
Wow.
team.
So
Look at
cool.
that. I know everybody has their stories, right? And it's just like
Yeah.
being a friend of somebody. That's it, right? Sharing similar interests, and then
Mhm.
who would have thought that both of y'all would still, share like the art interest too, right? Like, did you guys end up talking more about that stuff, or was it just more about the game, or everything, right?
Well, at first we only talked about the game, but yeah, over time, like I was interested in his drawings, and I showed him my 3D work. I also did draw a bit for a time before I went for 3D.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we had interest in each other's art, so that's how he knew I was doing 3D. But yeah, that's
Oh,
how it started.
that's so sick. Huh. I guess yeah, you said you did draw beforehand. What led you to even start the 3D modeling? I guess would be something that I would be interested in, right? Like, how do you say like I'm gonna go from 2D
Yeah,
to actually modeling? Because it's a whole different beast, I would assume.
yeah. Well, drawing was just a hobby as a kid that kind of died out in my 20s. When I went to study, at first I studied for computer science, um, which I managed, but I wasn't too interested in it. I just didn't really know what to do, and and going to work in video games always seemed to be like not really an option. Like it seemed like a trying to be a movie star or
A
something
pipe
like this,
dream,
right?
right? Like
Yeah,
building this
exactly.
and
It felt like a pipe dream that wasn't going to happen, so I didn't really pursue it at first. And at some point, I had a party with a friend that was doing computer science. Um, his roommate was working on ZBrush, the software I'm using right now.
okay, yeah,
And yeah, he made me try it. I thought it was really really fun. So eventually, yeah, I went and studied that. At first, it was not for video games; it was for mostly for movie. But there's a lot of skill overlap. Like the most of
yes,
the software is the same. It's just some of the techniques are different. Like movies and cinematics don't have the same limitations as video games.
okay.
But yeah, most of the techniques overlap. So that's how I switched to making video games character, and yeah,
Hmm,
that's how
nice.
it happened.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of us that we have this dream in the beginning, like, yo, no, I want to be a video game developer. And like so many of us have this computer science background, even if we didn't pursue
Yeah.
it, right, to the fullest degree. But I don't know, man. I was the same way, right? I'm just like, I want to make a video game, so I need to, computer science. That's it, right? And and realizing how many different parts there are to making video games, and then
Yeah.
even working here and seeing it, right? Like the departments and how they align together, even like story building. Geez, yeah, it's definitely one of those eye-opening experiences where it's like, yeah, we kind of have these same ideas, but our paths in creating the video game are
Yeah.
completely different in our roles as well, which is so cool to me.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
but yeah, I mean, so when Florian hits you up, okay, he said, "Hey, we need a 3D modeler." Did he have
Mhm.
what stage I guess was Immortal in, and were there any things that he showed you that were like, okay, I would love to contribute to this, or things that drew you to Immortal, I guess I should say.
Uh, that was I joined early in Karath. I think the the first unit he showed me that were still in production at the time were the Magi and the Warden. So I was introduced to some of Florence drawing and some of John's. So that was my first
Hmm.
uh,
Nice.
and my first introduction. And then he got me in a meeting with Ian, Javier, and I can't really remember who he was, like almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, we talked about it, and then prior to this, during the week, I took the original Magi drawing and made a small 3D model out of it, kind of as if there was a test for entry in the company.
Yeah, and that was
Uh,
the one you
yeah,
passed. I mean, you're
yeah.
here, right?
Like
So
it wasn't, yeah, it wasn't required, but that's something I wanted to do, like just to show interest, right?
yeah.
Uh, and yeah, since I pretty much got the job, and that's how. And the first unit I made was actually the Warden from
Oh,
John
okay.
Sunset.
Nice.
And eventually the Magi was completely different because that's not the concept that stuck. So that was
Yeah, that
scrapped
that
work, but
struggle.
it was extra. Like it doesn't matter.
I guess in a bit of a transition before we start talking about even the process, right, that goes into a typical workday. I do want to remind
Mhm.
people, of course, once again, that there is a raffle going on for an immortal key, or quite some. So if you would like a chance in getting one, type in exclamation raffle in the Twitch chat, and you will have an opportunity to be a proud owner of a Walter key. So and it's fitting, of course, that Walter and Warden both start with the same letter. I'm just gonna put that out there. Uh, but yeah, man. As far as a typical workday, living in Europe, I know we're on a Pacific time schedule.
Yeah.
Um, have there been any kind of challenges as far as say scheduling? The typical workday for
Mhm.
you, right? Is it more of a solo thing and then you meet up, or do you guys really go into detail of what it is that needs to be done and work on it cooperatively?
So yes, I am working from France.
Hmm.
Toby, which is the lead of my department, is working in Europe too, although his schedule is often partly uh, partly American as well, like locked to the same time zone because of how much more interaction he must have with the other departments. So the way this works for me, I also have the added complication that my girlfriend has a very random schedule where she sometimes finishes work at 9 p.m. and the other week she would start work at 6 a.m. So
Oh, yeah.
I kind of have to pretty much try to align my work hours with her.
Yeah,
So
work-life
we
balance, right?
actually
Super
have
important.
yeah, right. So we actually have a life together,
Yeah.
and still also make sure I have time for like for my personal and my professional obligations. So
Hmm.
the way this works is usually I always have at 6:30 p.m. a meeting with Toby.
Hmm.
That's every day, and on the Monday and Wednesday in the early evening I have meetings for the company. Other than that, I can pretty much, and SunSpear has been very accommodating. I can pretty much put my working hours wherever I want as long as I do my 40
Yeah.
hours a week. So that's yeah. I just need to make sure I attend to those meetings, and then that's however I want. I
Okay.
usually yeah. I would when my girlfriend starts early, I would start around 7 a.m. When she starts late, I would start around 10 or 11 a.m.
Yeah.
and do my hours around this.
But at least like you have figured a way to achieve that balance, right? Like and
Yeah,
accommodate for each other.
yeah.
And oh, that's cool, man. That actually is really cool. And you even said even for professional stuff, but I mean, do you have any other kind of it goes back to kind of what we were talking about before as far as hobbies and stuff. Do you, play other games in your meantime or do other activities that just like, hey, I'm gonna
Hmm.
do this today? Cooking,
Well,
maybe, like are you a chef?
no, actually,
Are
I'm
you a
very bad at
superhero?
cooking. No, I, I'm very bad at cooking, but I have an excuse. I have no sense of smell,
Oh,
so
really?
so yeah,
Not even
food
COVID
is
related,
pretty
no.
boring.
Just
No,
no.
I was actually patient zero. I started COVID 30 years ago. Yeah,
Wow.
so yeah, I never really learned to cook. When I was a student, I was eating pastas and steaks every day, and now my girlfriend does the cooking and I do the dishes, so everyone's
Hey.
happy.
Well, I'm gonna
Uh,
ease the blow a bit and say that I still eat pasta and steak like every day.
there you
So
go.
that's just a good. You have a good taste at least in food,
Yeah.
regardless. There. So
Yep. Yep.
oh
No, other than that, for video games, I mostly play card games or turn-based strategy now.
yeah.
Um,
Ooh. Okay. I
Pretty
might
much
have to.
I've tried most of the digital card games. Right now, I'm pretty obsessed with Marvel Snap.
Dude, I've heard that's
Uh,
actually a really good one. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it does a lot of new things really well. It's very daring in its approach to card games. Like they changed a lot of things that are very
Look
established
into
in
it.
other games
Staple. Yeah.
and made a new one. Yeah.
Uh huh.
So yeah,
I think.
it's really cool and interesting.
Have you played it, John?
No, no, I haven't.
Because I know Toby was talking about it too, and he said
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. It's just one
Yep.
of those things too, even that you can learn. I feel like when you see a game do something right, even if
Hmm.
it's a completely different genre, you can kind of apply it, right? Or at least take things from it, elements, and
Yeah.
I guess that happens in art too, I would assume, right? Do you
Oh yeah,
have right, like
Oh yeah.
any
Yeah.
big
Hard to.
inspirations like that
kind of what
where
art is.
yeah, right?
Yeah. Look at what works and try to make it your own, twist it a bit, and yeah.
Huh.
Mm.
So I do want to
Yeah. I
ask,
think.
are there any like so big inspirations, right? Stylistically, maybe even first I'll ask this, right? I'll break it down. Is there like a specific style of art that you enjoy the most?
Yes.
Um okay.
stylized, which is unfortunate because we are going for realistic in this game.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite artists is Joe Madureira, who's one of he was originally a comic artist.
Okay.
He was working at THQ Nordic, and he made the first two Darksiders games, like the most of the art for them. So
Okay.
that's pretty much. I really like this blocky kind of comic book looking style of art.
Okay.
I think
His
that's really
pen
good.
work is so incredible. His inking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really
Cool.
good.
I know. I might just let you guys art out for a bit, and now I almost kind of want to just soak it in.
Well,
How about
you
you,
might
Big
have
Jon, too? Yeah, I wanted to.
yeah, you might have seen some of his recent work. He's been working on one of the Riot, like not from Riot as a company, but a project that Riot paid for, I think, which was the JRPG with that happens in the Pirate City. I don't really remember the name.
Remember?
Oh yeah. The with that's set in the
Bilgewater, I think, is the name of the
Bilgewater.
city.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
And
I
yeah,
haven't
there's a JRPG set in this place, and that's where Ruin King, I think, was the name.
That's why I like
Right.
the art so much. I didn't realize that was him.
That's him.
Yeah.
I was
But
like,
that's
man,
not
there's something
just
Connecting
about this art
dots.
style I just love. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you
look
go.
at that. Connecting the dots, baby. You know? That's
Yeah, there you
yeah. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Man. Well, that's like one of those things that I always love to ask artists because even as someone who's like a say music artist, right?
Mm.
There be some inspirations that you might have, right? But then sometimes it's like, but I'm just good at this, or people just like the thing that I do, even if like I love this completely, a lot more. Um, so it's fun to like pick the brains of any artist in general, as opposed to or I guess in addition to saying like things that we're good at versus like things that we are tasked to do versus like what we like really drew inspiration or enjoy doing the most. And it makes me ask you this next question: if you do like modeling in your free time for like stuff like that anyways, right, or drawing in different styles that might not necessarily be applicable to the game that you're developing.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like to do it also on my free time, although I don't do it as much now because I'm trying to have a life outside of studio as well.
True.
But I really like I got a 3D printer a year
Nice.
ago, and yeah, I want to make a bit more 3D printing with it, and I
Yeah.
really like doing project for that. And if we ever make a board game for SunSpear, I'd love to work on that project too.
Hell yeah. And I mean, I'll encourage you. I'll be your cheerleader as well, right? For stuff like that, to share it, right?
Yeah. Well,
I'm always a fan.
Yeah, here.
Word.
Small segue. This was.
Ooh, I forgot about that. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Holy
That was
moly.
one of the first sculpts when we were trying to define Aru's style.
Yeah.
So that was the
Whoa.
guy I made before we came up with a full art guide for it.
Oh, that is sick.
That's 3D printed by me.
Oh man.
Can you show us the model that you made for that?
Ooh, if I still have it.
If you still have it.
Yeah.
Oh, I have it on my art station, I think.
Nice.
Oh, that's so
So it
cool.
is saved.
Yeah, that I love that.
Yeah, it was very cool. I remember when he did that, I was like, oh, I kind of want a 3D printer now. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a
There you
3D
go.
printed or a resin? Like, was it a resin printer or was it a
It's resin, yeah.
resin? Cool. How is it having one of those?
It super stinks apparently, according to my girlfriend.
In what way?
And you pretty much have to print it outside your house, and use a mask and gloves. I think
Oh.
there are now resins that are less toxic, but yeah, the one I used for this was super toxic. Once you've put it in sunlight for a time or under a UV lamp, then it becomes solid. and then it's no longer toxic. But yeah, the
And
process
how
of
long does
making
that
it
process, take?
to print it, I think it took 4 hours ish, and it takes about half an hour to remove the small parts that are used for constructing it,
Hmm.
and then to dry it in the sun was another half hour or something.
So how long does it take for it to not like kill you and be toxic?
Oh, that's yeah. That when it's done, like you have to spend like half an hour leaving it in a July sun or something, and that's
Mhm.
that's good to go. And if you want to see the models, I brought it. I put it on my screen. I'm not sure
Yeah,
which one you're
we're
sharing.
looking at him right now, I believe, right?
Yeah.
There you go. So that's the 3D model.
Can we zoom in a little bit on it? It's kind of hard to see. Oh,
Yep.
nice. There we go.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that was.
That's
I
what I'm
think that was
talking
based
about.
off of like some super early Sylve sketches, if I remember correctly. That I remember I showed you.
Oh yeah, you showed me one of the, I think one of the
Yeah,
Immortals with a huge ass blade.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
Sorry
yeah.
for.
And then you went and ran with it, and it's so cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow, this is sick. Oh my god. I'm like, I forgot that I was like doing an interview, right? I'm over here just like
Totally not a voter. Yes, it was an early Odai.
Oh,
Yes,
look at
oh,
that.
that was.
Everybody, he caught it. He caught it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in
Dude,
the
that is
early
so sick.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Man. So it's wow. I could probably, go into this and just be like, hey, can you just go through your hard drive and just show us everything? But I guess maybe over time
Oh,
we'll
that'll
have
take
like a
time.
yeah, the archives of Matthieu.
Yeah.
But I did want to ask you, as far as working, right? Some of the challenges. I think you talked about one of them earlier, but are there certain kind of challenges that you do run into in working in the art department as a whole, right? I
Hmm.
always ask as far as when you work in a group and then there's a lot of creativity floating around, sometimes it can get a little
Right.
crazy, right? So
Um. Well, like every now and then, there's very odd time for meetings. That's pretty rare, but I did once have a meeting at 4 a.m. because we needed someone from New Zealand and someone from Oregon and me from Middle Europe, which
oh
wasn't
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
But that's very rare. It happens once in the almost 3 years I've been in.
Okay.
Um, like more. I mean, for working in a group,
Yeah. Let's say
I think the hardest part is something that we always try to do the least amount of, but is impossible to completely get rid of, is having late redos. When we set
Yeah.
on something that works on the concept, and then we start making it in 3D, but we
mm-hmm.
sometimes have to do compromise. Sometimes there are issues that come up when we start seeing the final result, and then we decide, yeah, that doesn't work, we need to
Yeah.
change the concept on this, and then having to rework through all the steps up to that
That
point
can be
is very
disheartening.
soul crushing in a bit.
So
It's
yeah.
no it unfortunately, like, that's something in art that you can't really escape, but that's the most difficult part, I think. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of I don't have creative differences with my leads, so
Okay.
that's
That's
fine.
actually awesome then,
That's,
right? Like already.
like,
Uh,
I will always follow what they want. Like, it's not my game, it's our game,
yeah,
and
for sure.
I will sometimes have an opinion, I will voice it and try and defend it. But if a lead thinks his opinion is superior for reasons I don't mean it in a bad way, by the way.
Yeah, but no, I know what you mean. Like to
Like, they,
understand,
they
right?
know
Like it
something I don't,
happens.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
they have more meetings
Guilty.
than me. They probably discussed it already with other people, and I have to follow their lead,
Yeah.
essentially, use
And
the
it happens in
sound.
every department too, right? Like a lot of
Yeah,
just the idea, of course, of
yeah,
at least being able to present your idea as good,
yeah,
right? And then I'm
yeah,
sure it
exactly.
gets taken into consideration, but then there are all these factors that you may have no idea about, right? I know
Yeah, yeah.
for
And there
communicating
is
in
also like,
marketing, it's like that too, right? Like,
yeah, there is like stuff I don't know about, and there is obviously also personal preferences. Like
yeah.
the fact that I like stylized stuff more than realistic stuff is also something I need to take into account every time I get feedback. Like
Hmm.
I like this more, but that's because it's more stylized, and that's something I need to
Yeah,
control in a way.
indeed. Well, you're doing a hell of a job, bro. I'll tell you that right now, just by looking at the stuff from today, and then of course what's already in the game. Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
and it makes me wonder, man, how long does it? You know, you told me about how long it takes to do the 3D printing part. How long does it take to like get a concept right given to you or your
Mm.
team, and then from start to finish, or at least from start to presentable, I should say, right? Because it's almost never finished, right? In a way.
So yeah, that's two very different questions.
Okay,
I
sorry.
usually no problem. That's actually a good thing that you presented it this way. Um, the I usually do the blockouts for the company for most of the assets, and that
Hmm.
usually will take me half a day at the most to get just the shapes overall of the unit
Okay.
before I start sculpting it properly. I can actually check if I have the sole blockout I made. I
Yeah.
probably don't have it. I
Oh,
might have like early versions that could give you an idea. And
sure.
it's like the to have it be presentable is often like a week or two,
Okay.
depending on the asset. Like Zol was probably looking good at around 2 weeks
Gotcha.
because it's a more complicated asset. But like more basic stuff like the Quittle was probably like
Oh,
3 days before
yeah.
it was
Like an
considered
alloy
as
patch, you know?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, like for a complete asset, it will always depend on how many redos and back and forth we have, which can completely like double, triple the time. In
Mhm.
ideal conditions, something landing on my lap before I give it to animation department will be about 3 weeks.
Okay.
But that's if everything goes perfect, the concept is very clear. There is no redo, and what I do is perfect, and there is nothing to change, and that's off to the
Off the
next ones,
yeah. I know, I
which
guess
pretty much never happens. But if it does, it's about 3 weeks to make the my side of the
of it.
job.
All right. And I guess
Couple
a little oh, sorry.
I was gonna say a couple questions in the chat. One of them was have you ever sculpted in VR, and if so, what's your opinion on it?
I
Oh.
have not. I just played Beat Saber in VR at a friend's house. I don't have a VR setup.
Yeah,
Um,
Beat Saber's legit.
yeah, I've seen demos of it. Honestly, it could. I would be interested in trying it maybe. The thing is, I'm very used to working with like this software I'm using. For instance, is um, I'm using a lot of keybinds, right? And I'm not sure how much control I have with the control, like the controller you use for VR.
Yeah.
I can't see how many controls you can set with the few options you have. So I imagine for something pretty basic, it will work. But once you
When it
start
gets
to
complicated.
switch between different tools and different menus and everything, it probably will be slower
Yeah.
than working on the screen with the tablet, I think.
Right.
But that's just an opinion. That's not that's a guess, not a fact-based
Factor, yeah.
opinion.
Speculation.
And then the other question in the chat was, can we see more old Odai art? I'll just very quickly go through some old Odai art.
Yes.
So this was the piece of concept art I think that Matthieu first maybe saw, I think, and
Yeah, I think it
started
was
doing
this.
some designs based off of that. And then this was a very early, very not a fan of this, but very early, back when he was called Oros,
I've not
Uh-huh.
seen this one though.
was doing some thinking there, and he's just super heavily armored, and yeah, I'm not really a big fan of it. There's some stuff that I like, but mostly,
He reminds me of
you
like
know,
Ronin Warriors. There was a show back that I used to love called Ronin Warrior. Warriors, but it gives me them Ronin Warrior vibes,
Ronin
you know?
Warriors. I don't remember that one.
Oh, that was so good.
And then this is like, again, just like really, really messy. Just like, what would it look like if this was here and then this was here? Some really rough sketches. This is that's like coffee napkin scribble. Here's some silhouette stuff that I did, and then that kind of started some more iteration. And um, this was right before we changed. We really kind of started fleshing out his character from Oros to Odai.
But yeah.
And my favorite one here was 5, and I really liked that one. I wanted to pursue
Oh,
that one quite a bit, and so some of this leaked into the some of the later Odai stuff,
oh, that
which
is
is
sweet.
like this
Now
kind
look
of
at him.
stuff.
Yep.
This is also an older one, and then this is a sketch that Javier, our art director, did, and just kind of we were bouncing ideas back and forth. Um, some some fan art of like Odai like holding up a regular
Oh,
R.
this is so cool, man.
Um, and then the classic Odai angry face, and
I love this
then
one.
Emote worthy for sure.
Yeah.
some Odai swords. So yeah,
Oh man, this is just my fan, curiosity coming in. Like, is there ever gonna be a time where we get to really just have this compendium, or just
there
archive of?
is there. Yeah,
Yes.
some say that there's even a single source that's coming at some point.
What would that be called, Big John? Just
We
wondering.
we can't even talk about it.
Oh, I was actually gonna link to the art book, but sorry.
Oh wait, is that already? Yeah, that would be it then. It's the
The
art book.
lore, like the lore.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that'd be amazing. So,
And going
damn.
back to your previous topic, I have in my scene open a 2-week-old Zol. If you want to
Oh
take
yeah.
a look
Yes,
at
please.
that
Yeah,
look
can we
back.
switch? Can we switch to Matthieu's screen?
Yeah. And since then, so I've obviously detailed some parts of the character, but some proportion change happened also, and also that was before I made the bow quiver and stuff like this. So that's the character at about 2 weeks. Whoops. And
Yep.
what we currently have is about 1 month later, after a bunch of redos, and I also worked on a few other stuff in the meantime. But yeah, so that should give you an idea of how much progress happens at the start versus at the end.
Okay.
It's a lot of detailing and sometimes redo in the later stage, but it starts to be presentable at around 2 weeks.
All right. Word. And then I guess in that same area, I would say, do you have? So there's I was gonna ask if there's like a favorite type of asset that you do like to create. I know you said the most challenging one was foliage, but is there
Yeah,
something that you just really enjoy?
creatures in general.
Hmm.
Like I really like making. Yeah, the first stage is unfortunately the most fun when you get the shapes right and start sculpting. Before you get into the very fine details and tweaking.
Hmm.
But overall, yeah, making creatures. We started working on Eku, for instance. That was a fun one,
Hmm.
which is Zol's pet
Nice.
or companion rather than pet. Uh,
Yes, I know. I know. Dylan made sure
yeah,
that it was not a pet, right? It
sorry,
had its
sorry.
own. Oh man,
Yeah, that's yeah. I would say creatures is the most fun.
but specialty. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, that's I mean naturally then, right? For working on Zol, and then geez, I guess as we're kind of getting towards the end, man. As much as I don't want it to be, is there a specific work of art that you are the most proud of doing? Doesn't have to be Immortal related. But I did want to ask you if you had a favorite and why it was Walter as well. So I'll go.
It wouldn't be Walter. I mean, I gave him an hour of my time, so it's not my proudest accomplishment. Uh, for Immortal, I think Zoe is probably going to be my favorite one. I really like.
Oh, sick! That's awesome. Yeah.
I really like her. Outside of the company, I had this one guy made. If I bring up again my art station, it's me plugging my art. Sorry. Which one was it? I think this one was a good representation of the style I like making. It's
That's
from
so Darksiders.
Yep. Oh
yeah,
my god,
it's
yes.
like this was the original concept that I took from a
Nice.
guy named Carlos Ruiz that now works with Joe Mad, go figure. And
Yep.
this is the model I made. It's a bit old, so if I were to redo it now, it would probably be better. But I still like it quite a lot. I think it was a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say I love it. Looks
that's
so
very
sick.
awesome. I love that the tails have to be sticking straight
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
That's
It's like
your. Yeah, I was gonna say I knew this. I know that I noticed
um,
that as your profile pic.
yeah,
That,
that's for
that
the
middle one.
yeah
Oh, this
the
is sick.
people's.
Yeah,
And this one
please.
also was one of my favorite. It was also made from drawing. Um, here
Wow.
you go.
There we
This
go. Yep.
character, and that's
Dude, this
the
is so
drawing.
sick.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's this type of stylus stuff is what I like doing the most.
Okay. Oh man. Damn, Matthieu, you are quite the interesting, talented dude.
Thank you,
And
thank
I'm
you.
so happy that you were able to join us and also not just talk about your background and like typical, day in the life of you, but showing it, right? I think this is what people really love to see, right? What goes into making these models. And I know that I've learned a lot just from listening to you and then, become even more of a fan just by looking at all of the work that gets put in from the start to what we see at the end. So,
Yeah.
Ajari bless to your work, dude. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we end up wrapping up, real quick?
Sorry, my mic cut off
Oh,
right when you were
oh,
talking.
sorry. I was gonna say if there's anything that you want to talk about real quick before we end up wrapping up. To let people know,
Ah,
maybe a little
uh,
teaser of some sort.
oh, um, not much really. Sorry.
It's fine.
Thanks for having me on the show. It was fun, and yeah, get
Yeah.
ready, folks. All it's coming. But
Yes.
I won't
Oh,
say
so
the
excited.
I won't
Matthew
say
will
the
have to. I'll send you the early. I think we're going to be recording Zol's voice lines first, so I'll send you the early
oh
Yes.
nice.
Oh,
stuff
that's
for
gonna be
Zol, so you can
sick.
kind of finally put a voice to the form.
Yep.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, for those that don't know, guess what? The raffle. I forgot to give you guys a final chance, but I hope y'all entered it in order to get this key. We are going to be doing the drawing for the raffle. So as we go into the chat, who's going to get it? It is Sebastian Z. Please, I apologize
Nice.
for
Well
butchering
done.
your name. And ZK012, a new member of our community.
Oh, welcome this ZK guy.
Welcome,
Huh.
ZK.
Yeah.
01 Deuce.
I hope you liked the game.
I-
Oh man.
so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh man, Izotop, I look forward to your work in the future and always look forward to seeing you in the playtests.
Sure.
Yeah, just an awesome dude.
Same.
And Big Jon, man, hot diggity doobie damn. Thank you for being here, for being able to ask such questions that I couldn't have been able to, right? And giving me a little bit more insight and background. So
Back at you,
yeah.
man. It was good stuff. By the way,
Oh,
the raffle thing is broken, but we have more winners.
we
If you're
do.
in the chat, listen up here. Seulren, Seulren,
Mm-hmm.
got a chat, or sorry, got a key.
Yep.
Tilnor, Tilnor, and Axiori, AXIORI got a key. So congratulations, guys! You also in the Walter Club.
Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad that we got that at the end there. So congratulations.
And how can
And
they get those keys
Right.
again?
I believe Kip is going to message them, our wonderful producer. So for everybody that won, congrats, and you'll get the key and also the instructions on how to claim it and download the game and become part of this beautiful community. And
There you
even if
go.
you don't have a key, you can still come by the Discord, right? Honestly, there's a lot of active people that'll be there to not only just entertain you, but give you a good introduction, and also you can check out the lore, all of the cool stuff that we do on a weekly basis. So check out the Discord. We're here for y'all, and we appreciate the fact that y'all are here for us. So on that note, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this Pyreside chat. I did, Ezotop. Oh, I'm sure we'll have you on in the
Was fun.
future
Was
for
fun.
sure. Because I mean, everybody loves Zol, right?
Maybe for Eku.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, there's the teaser that we needed. Haha. So on that note,
There you
ladies and
go.
gentlemen, have an awesome day, night, afternoon, depending on what part of the world you are from, and we will see you next month for the next Pyreside chat. I'm
See you
Tempo.
guys.
Bye.
Yo. Bye bye.